I'm Jason Hurd, local lad from Bolton originally. Started DJing about '92, after about 2 or 3 years going to started going to the Hacienda and Bowlers and Shelley's in Stoke, listening to Sasha and all them kind of people. I was always going back to people's parties, putting on a few tunes, and then in about '93 I went living abroad and got a residency in a club, and I was, to be honest with you, if you'd seen me, I was awful, couldn't mix, it was all over the place, it was a nightmare, but that's how I learned. I started my own night up called Too Risque, which was at North. That was years ago, I can't even remember when that is. And when I started that, obviously I had better income. And I was in Eastern Bloc one day, and Big Danny, a DJ, some of you might know him, he's resident for Head Candy, and he said to me, do you want to come in the studio? So I went, oh, I can't do that, I'll be useless at it. So I went in this, he said, just come in. So they got me in by giving me a free day first of all, and it was like learning that. First time I DJ'd, I fell in love with it and I was hooked on it, and it was, oh, I've got to do this. So I did that for about 2 years, 3 years. Every penny that I was earning from DJing was going into the studio. And then God's Kitchen asked me to start running God's Kitchen for them. So they started a new night called Babushka, which was more vocal and less trance, stuff like that. So, because I already had the night in Manchester in the Peruvian background, they said to me, will you run it for us? So I went in and did all the bookings. I was booking like Joey Negro, Eric Murillo, Beanie Martini, Danny Rampling, Frankie Knuckles, David Morales. I was booking and playing with all these kind of guys. I was in the studio one day and I'd done a few tracks and a couple of things done okay. And Joey Negro said to me, do you want to come in the studio with me? So I went, yeah, of course I do. So I went down to London and went in his studio and made his track. Big fat bass, heavy drums, and it was just a dub, it was just messing around. And I sent it and I gave it to all the DJs. And Eric Murillo said, oh, I love the track. Will you re-sign it to Subliminal? And I'm like, yeah, of course I will. So I signed the track to him, and that's when it started. So the thing is, once you have one track that a lot of people are playing, and it's your own track, people will come to you, like singers and other producers and everything else. And I then went down to London and met this singer who, by chance, was a friend of a friend, had never done a track before. It was called Abigail Bailey. We got in the studio and we were like, okay, will you write some vocals for us? Should we do some vocals? Yeah, we'll do it together. So I thought, great, we'll go down. Sat in the studio and we're like, okay. And I'm sat there and I'm thinking, I don't know how to write a song, I don't know what to do. So I had all my records with me and I said, right, okay, let's just pull a record out and we'll copy the name and we'll write the song. So I've got my records, pulled out Soul Searcher, I just can't get enough. I said, that's the name of the song. So I kind of told her what I wanted from her, she did it, we co-wrote the song, and then the record became like top 10 in 16 countries, top 20 in a lot more. I gradually learned from all these different people, and I'd do the basis of the track at my house on my computer, and then I'd take it to another studio and I'd work with an engineer, and some of them might take like 10% or 20% of the track, but they put their experience into it and make the track and polish it off and make it sound like a good record. So each track that I was making was getting credibility and was getting played off people. You know, if I'd have done what a lot of people do and think, oh, that's finished, and not then taking it to someone with a lot more experience, the tracks wouldn't have done half as good as what they've done. I'm doing a remix at the moment, and they want like a One Kid style one, so they want it really percussive and loads of stuff. So that this will be like this. This is a remix of Faithless, Week and One. First choice for drums for me is always just sample CDs. Like sometimes I use a loop, sometimes just use separate hits, and then I just program the drums so that I'm really liking them, and make sure the bass fits, and then maybe possibly get the kick fitting now with the bass and the drums really. So if I decide I want more of a subby bass, I'll use that. If I want more of a thumpy bass, then I'll use that. Then basically I lay the track. So what I do is I get it so I've got the peak of the track. So like, you know, I've got, you know, a kick, a snare, hi-hat, percussion, bass, you know, a synth pick, synth line, string line, everything, and I get to the peak where that'll kick off when it's playing in the club, and then I'll break it down and start arranging it, which is like this. This is just basically industry standard arrangement really. We have like a 48 bar intro, bit of a break, go into it, and then, you know, just drop out a little bit, bring in the key element of the track, come out with the key element of the track, the lead, go to a big break, do a big break, come out, key element again, maybe with another element in there. And that's kind of how I do some of my stuff. I mean, it's not like the old days. In the old days, we used to have to do like lots of key changes, and you'd go into a break, and you'd have your middle eighths and everything else. And we still do stuff like that, but because the way it is at the moment, we're trying to keep it more club orientated. We do it more of a straight kind of just like this kind of format. You know, I won't make a track that I don't play, so I like tracks with big breakdowns and hands in the air, and I like percussion. You know, I like it housey. So this is the way that I kind of do things. But what I'll do every single time I'm doing a track, I'll have QuickTime open, which I'm sure you do yourself, and I'll have a track that I want that track to sound like, and I'll keep referencing it all the time, right to the very end. Everything, I'll just think, is that cutting through like that? Is that sounding like that? And just then mix everything down so it sounds like it. That's how I kind of arrange things and get my sounds together. So yeah, I think that kind of covers everything.
Well, round of applause.